What if quirks from My Hero Academia were like devil fruits in One Piece? I got a list of quirks in front of me. No, I have not hit a blunt today. This is just how I think. We're gonna start off with the big one, bro. I mean, I feel like you gotta start off with like the main attraction. I feel like you gotta start off with the biggest and hardest one, right? Like it's only kind of, hey, yo, whoa, whoa,
Huh?
one for all, the big enchilada. I feel like, and I'm not just saying this because they're both main characters, right? But One for All really is a lot like the Gumu Gumu no Mi, right? Like, you know, spoiler alert, the Gum Gum fruit is not actually the Gum Gum fruit. Similar to One for All, it kind of started out as one type of power, like a sort of like a pseudo Superman. Like, it was essentially like he was All Might, right? Like All Might just kind of bequeathed his powers to Midoriya. But then throughout the story, you know what I'm saying, it developed into something much more that kind of split the whole fan base in half and ruined the story, depending on who you ask. But that's a different topic for another day. I'ma just say it. I think One for All is like a mythical zone, right? The power basically is Midoriya channeling all of the various techniques of the previous users, right? You could say that he is, you know, like a human fruit type of thing. Like he's transforming into, they're not like mythical deities or anything, but the reason why I say mythical zone is just because of, you know, the nature of what One for All is, like at its core. Like it is pretty much a divine transcendent ability that passes wills through different generations, right? That, and you know, there's always a transformation aspect to every zone type of devil fruit in One Piece, and every time Deku gets mad, he literally like goes feral, right? Like Dark Deku is a thing, right? Individually though, I would have to say all the quirks of Paramecia abilities. Again, the original incarnation of One for All, the super strength thing, it's kind of like the buff fruit, right? Burgess's fruit enhances your muscles and stuff, makes you able to lift buildings and whatnot. Gear shift, Fajin, Black Whip, float. There's literally a float fruit in One Piece. All of these are Paramecia. Danger Sense, I could argue, is more like hockey, observation hockey, and more in particular. But I mean, it is a quirk. Like, it's not, Danger Sense isn't something that anybody can just awaken. But yeah, now I'm looking at the rest of Class 1A now. I like most of these quirks, I would have to say, are Paramecia. And see, this is where we already, like, I don't know how far we are into the video. Not long into the video, and I'm already like, you know what I'm saying, there are a lot of Paramecia, but there's a lot of Paramecia in One Piece too. Like, they're really, if you really think about it, there's only like two classes of devil fruit, or two like proper categories of devil fruits in One Piece. You got zones, and then you got Logia. Like, all of the miscellaneous categories of devil fruit, that just kind of just, that's what Paramecia was made for. Paramecia is the etc. So I'm just like looking at all of this, like Bakugo's explosion, that's a Paramecia easy. Uraraka's zero gravity, like it's similar to Midoriya's float, also similar to Shiki's float fruit. So that's a Paramecia. Kirishima's hardening, I would say, is a Paramecia. I'm looking at some more. The earphone jack, Jiro's quirk would be Paramecia. Momo's creation. What else we got? Aoyama's naval laser. I mean, it's just a laser beam, so that's like a Paramecia. Some people could argue it's kind of like Kizaru, because Kizaru has lasers, but Aoyama's entire body is not the naval laser, right? Like, it's literally, it's in the name. Man's got an Audi for real. What else we got? Minetta's quirk, Sugar Rush guy, the tape guy. Like, these are all Paramecias, bro. They're just all just really, like, I don't want to say generic, because Minetta's ability is anything but generic, but like certainly stupid and ridiculous and useless, but it's definitely not generic. We do have a couple zones in here though. Like Froppy obviously will be a zone. She literally just transforms into a frog. Tail guy, I don't know his name, man. These are like C-D characters that barely ever get any dialogue, bro. Who really cares about the tail guy? I couldn't tell you like what animal he is, but you know, a tail transformation zone, easy. Interestingly though, I would have to call Dark Shadow and Shoji's like dupla arms quirk, I would have to call those mythical zones. Shoji's is more so because of, you know, the religious aspect is what I'm thinking. Like a lot of Buddhist, a lot of Hindu deities tend to have multiple arms. But Dark Shadow is a weird one. I want to say Dark Shadow is definitely more on the magical side of things as opposed to the mythical. But I guess the reason why I would call it a mythical zone is because like it literally, once it gets big enough, like again, no spoilers, like it literally, all right, I'm gonna spoil this little one part section of the story that happened a couple months ago. Like Dark Shadow literally becomes Godzilla and fights against All For One at one point. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just to round out Class 1A, we do have a couple Logias though. We do have a couple. Obviously, Shoto, half cold, half hot. Is there a such thing as a mythical Logia? Not yet, at least. I mean, who knows? I might be cooking. But yeah, Shoto is obviously his quirk is basically half the Maramara no Mi, Ace's fruit, Sabo's fruit now. Then the other half is like the Hiei no Mi, right? That's Aokiji's fruit. Kaminari's electrification, I would have to say, is like a Logia. It's not exactly the same as Enel's fruit, right? Like he's not made of pure lightning, but he can generate lightning, right? And then the last one I got as a Logia is Mina's fruit. Now, Mina, at first, I put her as a Paramecia, and that's just because, like, my mind immediately went to poison, right? And Magellan, poison fruit. I just found out that Magellan's fruit is a Paramecia, which is a little bit, because poison does exist. Like, you can just pick up a poisonous flower, or, you know, I don't know. But Mina's quirk isn't poison. Her quirk is acid, right? Shout out to Dr. Stone. Nitric acid is a thing that can just leak out of a rock or whatever. Again, similar to Kaminari, she isn't like purely made out of acid or whatever, but look, man, close enough. And I forgot about Invisible Girl, but obviously invisibility, we have the clear fruit in One Piece. It's a Paramecia, dog. Stepping away from Class 1A though, I got a couple of the upperclassmen, the big three, you know what I'm saying? Right off the bat, easily, Mirio's permeation is a Paramecia. The closest thing I can compare it to in One Piece is Senior Pink's fruit, but yeah, still, it's just one of those like miscellaneous abilities. Like it isn't a transformation and it isn't an element, so kind of by default, it's a Paramecia. And as you raise wave motion, will have to be Paramecia as well. Again, it's just like she can literally just shoot ki blasts, right, or something like that. Ki blasts made a sound. How those quirks always confuse me. She's a DBZ character. That's basically her entire quirk. Okay, Amajiki's quirk now, the manifest thing. I wanted to call this it's a zone, right? Just throwing that out there. Let's just get that out of the way. It is a zone. I didn't know whether or not to keep it as a regular or a mythical because, you know, for the most part, he just transforms into regular animals, and not even like the full animal, just like parts of his body transforms into different animal parts depending on the stuff that he eats. You know, I wanted to keep it a regular zone because, you know, like humans eat pretty basic food for the most part. Your seafoods might transform into a cow or like a chicken or something like that, you know, like a pig or something. But yeah, you don't see Amajiki running around eating like Cerberuses and Pegasus and like all these divine mythical creatures, right? Because for one, they don't exist in My Hero as far as we know. But I will give him the mythical, bro. I will, because in theory, let's just say Pokemon exists in the My Hero world, right? Let's say if like, I don't know, Ho-Oh or Lugia, Zapdos, right? Let's say these legendary Pokemon of legend just swooped into UA one day, and I don't know, like they teamed up against it, killed it, and was like, yeah, we got Pokemon for dinner tonight, boys. Like if Amajiki was to eat Moltres, for example, right? Or let's stick with Ho-Oh, because I said Ho-Oh. Let's just stick with one legendary Firebird Pokemon, all right? Let's just say if Amajiki somehow managed to eat a piece of Ho-Oh, would he then be able to transform his body into, you know, that of a legendary Firebird Pokemon? Would Amajiki then be able to use like a flamethrower or something like that, right? Right? Am I cooking? I don't know. No pun intended, by the way. Yeah, like I said, I didn't hit no blunt today. I was just bored and felt like talking about this because we ain't had no My Hero chapter this week. Let me know if you want to see more. I'm out.
If it's me, I apologize. I'm just high, so sometimes I'll just emphasize. I'm just shy, so I really need to emphasize. After this performance, check my vitals, make sure that I'm still alive.